Hey everybody, it's Carpo. When I started to make this video, actually when I contemplated making this video a little while ago, I wanted to open up with something to the effect of, Kim Jong-un, fuck you. And over the 20 minutes or so while I got a few things done and came out here, I realized that my first thought was, you poor fellow. You poor fellow. And we're talking about a 28-year-old leader who's been put into office forcibly by, willingly of course, but, he was raised just like anybody who has parents. Doesn't matter how ungodly or corrupt a person may be, he still had a dad, and his dad was still messed up and hated by the world. And now he's in the place his dad was, and he's 28 years old. When I was 28 years old, I had a pretty good idea of, pretty good round view of the world, I think, and now that I'm almost 38, I realize I didn't know shit at 28. And that poor little fellow, what we're doing up there in North Korea is we're poking a caged cat. People talk about false flag attacks and whatnot. We went to war in the Middle East on false pretenses, at least in my belief, to obtain oil, money, profits. Profit-motivated war, like it always is. North Korea would be the first legitimate or semi-legitimate threat we might actually have. But the difference between North Korea that I think a lot of people don't understand is that the government can go ahead and tell us that the Arabs, and the extremists and the extreme Muslims, how they hate our freedoms and how they hate us because we worship the wrong God, we're ungodly and whatnot. So amongst all the BS that they feed us, at least they can tell us that these people want to kill us for that reason, and still have people believe them. But when you're talking about a communist state like North Korea, there are very few reasons for them to hate us, and there are fewer reasons that our government can give us to explain why they hate us. And what it comes down to is we're poking a caged cat. And we're doing it because they want nuclear power and they want nuclear weapons, and we don't want them to have it. I'm not going to get into the issue of whether or not it's right for them to have that, or whether or not they should be a free nation to progress in that way. I've done my homework on Korea, and they're a pretty brutal dictatorship. They have basically fooled their people and closed their people off to not be able to think for themselves. And that's when a nation becomes, that's what we're trying to prevent our nation from becoming, is a censored nation. When somebody steps on your freedom of speech and your free right to speak, you get mad. And that's over there, they've never had a chance to get angry because they've never had free speech. So I don't want to go too far on this one. I just wanted to say that who knows what's going to happen, but what we're doing here is basically cutting off all ties to them for the rest of the world. Their people are already starving. We're helping them to starve more by putting, embargoes and cutting off their supplies of food and money, and they're angry about it. And I think that we may be provoking a strike. And so I'm on the fence of whether or not we're just provoking it to get them irritated so we can perpetuate our state of war that we've been in for so long to finance all these families and businesses, or if maybe there's something actually to it, to where really they're trying to keep this state from going rogue and going crazy. I don't know. And I think that's one of the issues that everybody who talks about North Korea needs to consider, is whether or not this is another case of U.S. bullying, or if it's something more than that. It's kind of like a reputation. If somebody's a bully in school and they're known bully in school, and then they have to fight somebody off in self-defense, it's going to be hard for people to believe that it was self-defense, because he's already proven himself a bully, and that's the situation the U.S. is in. We've proven ourselves, to be such douchebags and taking so much in the past from other people, that if we're really doing something to help the world or to help prevent, this rogue state, it's really going to be hard to prove that to the rest of the world after what we've already been asserted to be, which is douchebags. And I guess I'll leave it with this. If North Korea is such a threat, then why won't the rest of the world fucking step up? Why won't their neighbors step up? Why don't they get in there and do something about it? Well, maybe perhaps they don't feel as threatened as we do because they don't put their fucking nose in business where it doesn't belong. Or maybe I'm totally full of it myself. I don't know. Just a thought. So, enough about North Korea. Peace.